Information Minister Kojo Oppong Nkrumah has described the reaction of minority MPs to the 2024 budget as useless and empty. Minority Leader Dr. K.C. Alatoforsin told JoyNews the budget presented last week offers no hope to the suffering Ghanaian public. Government has also been assuring there will be no overspending in 2024, which is an election year. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kojo Asante has more in this report from the first day of the 2024 post-budget debate.
The 2024 budget debate has now started in earnest, with MPs from both sides going neck and neck with each other. In fact, today on the floor, MPs were literally at the throats of each other, with Kojo Oppong Nkrumah starting the debate and criticizing the minority for describing this budget as useless and empty.
First objective of any sound economic policy or economic program at this time should be to bring back stability. Mr. Speaker, if you look at this program, pages 1 to 164, as I mentioned, where you find the full outline of the economic program, you'll find that the objective number one is stability. To bring the cost of living down to a level that our fellow compatriots in this country can accommodate. Inflation sitting somewhere around the 50s, brought down or being brought down this year currently to about 32%. And the forecast is that in the 2024 financial year to bring inflation further down to 15%. Mr. Speaker, if anybody says that an economic program like this is useless or is empty, that cannot be true.
We also heard from acting ranking member on the Finance Committee, Isaac Adongo, who actually went back on last year's comparison between Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Harry Maguire of Manchester United. You may be wondering why the footballer is up on the floor of Parliament on this debate. Listen.
Taking an additional amount of 279 billion from the poor people in Ghana. You still remember e-levy. They said e-levy was going to be the Akobank of the world. Now where have you reached? Mr. Speaker, you remember that last year, I was very quick to compare my big brother, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to Harry Maguire. Mr. Speaker, I now apologize to Harry Maguire. Mr. Honorable Chairman, sir, you got very angry when I used your defender as an example. Today, Maguire has turned the corner, is a transformational footballer. Harry Maguire is now scoring goals for Manchester United. Mr. Speaker, Harry Maguire is now a key player for Manchester United. As for our Maguire, he is now roaming at the IMF.
with a cup in hand.
With a cup in hand. As for our Maguire, the economic Maguire, now was able to get pensioners to leave their homes and come and parade in the streets.
Deputy Finance Minister Binawse Asare has been assuring that government will not overspend in 2024 and derail the progress the economy has made so far.
Mr. Speaker, when you come to our expenditure, in the past, like I said earlier, governments have used election year as auctioning periods, engaging in all kinds of projects to win votes. But this government is committing itself to strong fiscal consolidation and efficient management of existing commitments in order not to derail the hard-won stability that we are witnessing. Mr. Speaker, as part of this commitment, government is not initiating new commercial loan-funded projects. And so when you check Appendix 10C, where we usually have commercial loan-funded projects, that place is blank. This tells you government is really committed to living within its means.
But the minority are not enthused about that assurance and says it will be taken with a pinch of salt. John Jinapo is ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee.
Firstly, let me just deal with a factual inaccuracy. Because in this chamber, I do know that, Mr. Speaker, you encourage a lot of intellectual debate based on facts. You can have your different opinion, but you cannot have different sets of facts. Madam Deputy Speaker, Madam Deputy Minister, you said that you have a track record in election year expenditure. For the record, in 2016, go and read the updated data. The deficit was about 6%. 2020, under your regime, election year, your deficit was a whopping 17%. Wow. It has never happened, Mr. Speaker. And in that year, no country had that deficit of 17%.
The debate is now going to continue in the subsequent days until the 28th of November, when the minority leader and the majority leader will conclude the debate. And from now till then, we are going to expect more jibes and jabs at each other. If what happened today on the floor is anything to go by, the next few days will be about jabs and jibes, as the minorities seek to make Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia the centerpiece of their debate on the floor, while the majority also clearly want to take on former President John Dramani Mahama, because these are the two persons who will be going at each other in 2024 when the election is set to happen. Reporting for JoyNews, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Right, so let me take you to Parliament now. We expect that the debate for today will commence shortly. Kweku Asante is there for us and joins us with what to expect. Hello, Kweku. Do we have a better attendance today? Yesterday, one of the key highlights of the debate was that, especially on the majority side, there were very few MPs seated at the time the debate started, and considering that this is their budget, I mean, it didn't send a good signal to the minority who raised that issue. But what does it look like this morning? It's 10:34 already.
Well, Ben, is the proceeding for today actually just started. The Speaker of Parliament just walked in, and today's attendance is nothing to write home about. I just left the chamber, and there's a screen that I'm just looking at now. There are not up to 15 members of Parliament on both sides of the House who are currently in the House. The Speaker of Parliament just said the prayers, and the bells have been tolling, inviting MPs to come to the floor for business to be done. As we speak, there are not up to 15 members of Parliament on both the minority and the majority sides on the floor. In fact, by the time I was leaving the chamber for this call, it was just the leaders that were seated on the front benches and a few other MPs sitting behind them. The attendance is completely nothing to write home about this morning, and the expectation is that in the coming minutes or in the coming hours, MPs will come to the floor. If you look at the car park, it appears there are MPs who are within the precincts of Parliament, but MPs are not on the chamber. So the question is, where are they? But now they are correcting votes and proceedings after they've said the prayer, and we expect that in the next few minutes, when day 2 of the budget is expected to continue, MPs will come to the floor for business to be done.
And Kweku, do we expect it to take the same format as it did yesterday, where individuals were given a certain number of minutes to make a case either for or against the debate or sections of the debate? Is it still going to be that same format?
Yes, it is going to be the same format, and from the business statement presented to us last week, today is going to be about communications, energy, roads, works and housing, sanitation and environment. These are the key areas that are going to be debated today on the floor, and the respective ranking members and the chairpersons of these committees in the House, as well as the ministers, if they are on the floor to debate this, will go into the specifics of this. As we have been made to understand, the ranking members and committee chairpersons will have 15 and 20 minutes to debate, and then all other MPs will have 10 minutes. But these key sectors will
Well, too bad. It appears we lost Kweku Asante there. He was just giving us a brief of what today is going to look like in terms of the post-budget debate. It's day 2. And we'll try and work that line and get the concluding part of his submission, and then also stay in Parliament for you and bring you the highlights of today's debate away from you.